minus 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
We are go.
The fusion of rational thought and political analysis.
This is what your brain has been waiting for. News, politics, and issues in hand.
You've just joined the Wilkow majority.
The next generation of great talk radio, the undisputed leader of the new school. In Wilkow, Sirius XM Patriot phone lines, as always. Wines at 695 Patriot 957-2874. The email to spell my name right, WILKOW at WilkowMajority.com. Individual Patriot first, conservative second, Republican third. And working every single day to make this the most popular program offered by Sirius XM Radio, because it's based in one thing and one thing only. And that is rational thought. So welcome to the Wilkow Majority. I'm Andrew Wilkow. Oh, we have a lot of stuff to get to. Did you see the Vanity Fair cover? The Socialist. The capitalism is racist, socialist. We have to end capitalism. The Latina, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is on the cover of Vanity Fair, and she's featured in a multi-page spread where each of the outfits she wears or wore for the photo shoot costs roughly $15,000. In what socialist society would a suit of clothes, blazer, business-friendly slacks, and a pair of high heels cost $15,000? Who could afford that? I mean, even in the government. There should be. We know, of course, there would be, because there's no such thing as a socialist society where the government lives like the people. There would be no such thing in a real socialist society as a suit of clothes that would cost $15,000, because there'd be no market for it. But socialism is for the people, not the socialist. There's also an amazing story out there that the Democrat-driven media is going to do everything it can to squash, and that is GDP booms at 33.1% rate in the third quarter. Better than expected. That's the headline from CNBC. But the desk-pounding pundits, the experts sitting around the glass tables with network logo coffee mugs, are not going to say, this is amazing, this is great. The economy's on the way back. We're doing better than we could expect considering the China virus. Well, don't call it that, you'd be a bigot. And then there's this. A pattern is emerging. A pattern is emerging in this Hunter Biden issue that the media is discredited. Nope, Russian disinformation. It's not real. No, don't look here. Look over here. Look over here. Orange man bad. Joe Biden has campaigned on being the point man on the bailout of General Motors. What do we know about General Motors? There's a pattern here. You're going to like this. And this is something, as vote changing is now trending on Google. And by the way, in 3 states, battleground states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, you can change your ballots. Now, it's kind of tricky. If you've got a mail-in ballot, you're going to have to go down to your Board of Elections and say you want to vote on Election Day, and then certify that you are, you have to go through a process. It ain't easy in some of these states, but it can be done. There's a pattern emerging that the media is purposely not connecting. Democrats won't speak of it. And if you remember, I argued this against the TPP and Paul Ryan. I said, Paul Ryan, you are not promoting American interests here. You're not. And as I've said, Paul Ryan is look, some of you can get upset at me for saying it. That's fine. But Paul Ryan, in my teeny tiny opinion, was a worse Speaker of the House than Nancy Pelosi, because we expect this stuff from Nancy Pelosi. But anyway, Joe Biden was the point man, in his own words, on the bailout of General Motors. What happened in the bailout of General Motors? What happened? The American taxpayer gave $50 billion to General Motors. The federal government took seats on the board of directors. They essentially owned the company, Government Motors, for a time. They hand-selected the CEO, Mary Barra. They made edicts and dictates about the number of hybrid and plug-in vehicles General Motors would have to produce, even if the market didn't want them. They forged, if you would, or should I say they used smoke and mirrors to make General Motors look healthier than it was by fleet purchasing by government. So grants were handed out to state and local governments to go out and buy General Motors vehicles. One of the biggest purchasers was General Electric, as they had an interest in promoting their plug-in charger business. And they got enormous tax credits. So tax credits were being handed out to corporations to buy plug-in hybrid vehicles. Wow, it looked like General Motors was doing great. Truth is, it really wasn't. Then Obama wrote down the loans. General Motors did not produce a product that the market wanted at a price it was willing to pay. And General Motors said, we've profited. Here's the $50 billion back. The loans were written down. But something else happened. Under Biden's stewardship, there was an increase in the partnership between General Motors and the Shanghai Auto Investment Group, which is the Chinese state-run auto producer, to which all of the intellectual property of General Motors was transferred to the Chinese, and they began producing Buicks for export to the United States. There's another pattern here. Biden and Harris and Biden have promised there'll be an end to fracking, and then we will eventually ramp down our use of oil and natural gas and coal. But what was Hunter Biden doing in the Ukraine? If you remember, Donald Trump was 1,000% right when he said to Angela Merkel or to the Germans, you don't want to pay more for NATO, but you think Russia is our number one or your number one threat, but you keep buying your oil and natural gas. And why'd you buy it from us? Why wouldn't our NATO allies buy oil and natural gas from the United States and not Russia unless the Russian oligarchs were paying off the German elite to do so? What is it Biden said he was going to do? He was going to end fracking. He was going to continue the war on coal. There's no clean coal, he said, if you remember. But what was Hunter Biden doing in the Ukraine? He was working on the board of an oil and natural gas company. So instead of the United States, which there is no way possible in the absence of suicidal regulations, could the Russians or the Ukrainians beat the United States in energy exports? We're killing our own industry, while Hunter Biden is sitting on the board of directors of a company that will profit from the global market. There's another one. We killed our steel industry for a while, didn't we? And when the president proposed tariffs on Chinese dumping steel, Democrats and some libertarians went crazy. But what was Hunter Biden doing in China? The most recent documents show that Hunter Biden and this was forming a partnership with James Biden and several other investors. They wanted to get in on the $4 billion that Andrew Cuomo, and they approached Cuomo and Schumer, $4 billion in infrastructure projects in the city and state of New York. Where was the steel gonna come from? You guessed it, China. So here's what the Bidens have been doing. Joe Biden has been using his position of authority to crack down on American industry, all to the celebration of the activist left. Look at this guy. He's killing steel. He's killing coal. He's killing oil and natural gas. He's making dirty deals with the Chinese on automobiles. And his son is collecting the money, to which he's kicking back 10% to the big guy. There's a pattern here. The elite left has been doing this for quite some time. Do you remember? You want to know who taught him how to do it? Bill Clinton. Loral Space and Communications and Hughes Technology. Bernard Schwartz, the CEO of Loral Space and Communication, wanted in on the Chinese military market. And under H.W. Bush, there was an embargo. So he started donating heavily to the Clinton campaign. By 1998, the Chinese had access to American missile guidance system technology. By 2007, they were able to knock a satellite out of space with a rocket that we helped them design. And you know where else that technology went? North freaking Korea. Because Bill Clinton sold it to them. This is what the Bidens are doing. Joe Biden is more than happy to sign off to the, again, applause of the left. Oh, hell yeah, we'll kill our oil industry. Hell yeah, we'll kill our natural gas industry. Hell yeah, we'll kill our fracking industry. So my son can go to Ukraine and sell oil and natural gas to the rest of the world. Wind and solar. Where's all that going to be produced? Where's all that going to be produced? You want to bet it's going to be all produced in China? Or at least some part of it. Biden's blabbing about buy American, buy American. When has Joe Biden ever been about buy American? He talks about labor. You know, it's so standard of the Democrats. Talk about the jobs and kill the job creators. They didn't save General Motors because they wanted Americans to buy cars. They just wanted to save the UAW jobs so the UAW would give more money to Democrats. Let me say this. If the Democrats gave a damn about General Motors, if every Democrat in America bought a General Motors product, we wouldn't need to bail them out. Show me Democrats in and around the major metropolitan cities and the university towns, places like, what are they all driving? What are they driving? Even Cadillacs are beneath them. It seems, I got to be honest with you, it's not scientific. I have never seen an F-150 or a Silverado with a Biden-Harris sticker. I see a lot of Mercedes, Infinitis, Audis, German and Japanese cars. Never see American cars. Almost never. Subarus, well, Lesbaru, yeah, hell yeah. The Lesbaru, I mean, that's just, that's a visualized world peace. We are the 99%. Bernie 2020 with a Biden-Harris sticker halfway over it. Tolerance, coexist. Women are natural leaders. You're following one now. I don't see, for all the talk of the working man, I'm sure you can find it. I'm sure out there's a country of 350 million people. Somewhere there is an F-150 or a Silverado or a Ram truck with a Biden-Harris sticker on it, but it's not the stereotype. What is the stereotype of the typical elite Democrat? Is it driving it around in an American car made in the USA? Or is it that's beneath them? I mean, come on, even Cadillac seems to be beneath them. And Lincoln. But if every Democrat actually bought made in the USA, how come all these Hollywood designers don't make their fashion in the United States? Weinzig 695, Patriot 957 2874. All the people that talk about jobs want to make their money, want to make their products elsewhere. $33.1% in the third quarter. I know. Watch. You watch. Everyone's going to try to poo-poo it. If it was Biden, if this happened the day after Inauguration Day, oh, the markets, they know the recovery's coming because Biden and Harris have a plan. Get the hell out of here. By the way, what is this? Is it the third or the fourth night of rioting in Philadelphia? Banning fracking in Pennsylvania and riots right up to the election. Ooh, that's really good for the Democrats. Keep rioting. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, peaceful protesting and undocumented shopping. Excuse me. We're right. They're wrong. That's the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot.